Namaste, welcome to our Yin and Restorative Yoga class. My name is Michelle Chua. We have a request from our live community today to practice on physically opening up the hips, releasing tension in the lower back, and digestion stimulating postures like spinal twists. So make sure you have the following props behind me. That is 2 blocks, a strap, a bolster or pillow, and a blanket. Find any comfortable way for you to begin sitting. I invite you, if it's appropriate in your body, to sit in some version of hero's pose, virasana, in which you place your knees in front of you, no wider than hips distance apart, and either sit directly on your heels or on a block that's right between your ankles, making sure that your feet are tops of the feet flat on the ground, not turning out or turning in the feet, which helps to align your knees safely. And take a moment to mentally transition into your yoga practice of union, connecting mind, body, spirit, breath. Last week, I went over, once again, the 8 limbs of yoga and how the 7th limb of yoga is the practice of meditation, dhyana in Sanskrit. Today, I want to talk a little bit more about 5 qualities that develop when you practice meditation regularly. And that's from the book by Pema Chodron, How to Meditate, a Practical Guide to Making Friends with Your Mind. I highly recommend this book, not only for beginners, but people who've been meditating for a while. So she talks about these 5 qualities. The first is you develop loyalty to yourself, which she calls steadfastness. It's time and time again, even on days that you're not feeling so happy or uber enthusiastic, you show up for yourself. And sitting in meditation, it's like this unconditional acceptance of what you are in the moment, good days and so-called bad days. The second quality that you develop when you have a regular meditation practice is clear seeing. So we get to really observe what's the patterns that we pay attention to, things we pay attention to, things we say to ourselves in our minds, or thoughts that come up. Because when we sit down to meditate, it's not like the busyness starts then. The busyness of the mind is ongoing. It's happening when you're going to work, when you're going to the store. It's just that when we sit to meditate, we notice the busyness in our minds a lot more because that's what our intention is, to notice. And so I often hear, I can't meditate because I have so many thoughts. The more so that we need to meditate is we can take a look at those thoughts. And this clear seeing allows us to really notice, what are we paying attention to mostly on a daily basis, and thus giving our energy and perpetuating more thoughts about. Are they thoughts of anxiety? Are they thoughts of fear? Are they thoughts of joy? Also, it helps us to observe the narratives that we place around daily situations and things that might otherwise be looked at as neutral events, and how we color our experiences and give meaning to them. And as we become more aware of these things through this clear seeing that happens, then we have more freedom to choose, like, what kind of meaning do we want to give to all these different events? And then the third quality is courage. Courage to be with what is. As you sit, oftentimes things surface from our subconscious and unconscious minds, even things that we've repressed because maybe they were uncomfortable to be with at the time. And things like frustration, anger, hurt, pain can arise. And as we practice being with ourselves unconditionally, we cultivate this resilience, this ability to be with compassion what's coming up, and to be open to what's coming up. And that transfers into our daily lives too. What we do in meditation, we begin to integrate into how we are aware in our daily lives. The fourth quality is being awake in our lives. And that's practically what I just said. It's where we're not just living out of reactivity, reacting to this happening, reacting to that, what that person said. We become more responsible for how we choose to respond, because we've become more observant. We're more in tune with what's going on in our interpretations of things. So rather than being on autopilot or default mode of how our thoughts push and pull us in different directions, we get to decide what thoughts we follow and how we do so more intentionally. And then the fifth quality is what she calls no big deal. And it's not out of cynicism, it's a cultivating of humor and flexibility. As we sit with our minds more, we get to realize like how much weight, emotional weight or baggage we put into daily things. And we can start to prioritize and see things from even a sort of lightheartedness. We can loosen the grip that we might have over certain situations and develop a remembering not to take ourselves so seriously, and even not to take things that happen so seriously. Give ourselves space to breathe. And so with that, I invite you into our physical yoga practice, which is meant to give us the ability to concentrate or help us to develop concentration, in which we'll be able to be still as we loosen the body and bring more ease to it, so that we can sit in the end for 5 minutes sitting in meditation. So with that, let's start by checking in with what's on your plate today. As you sit still, tall, relaxed, maybe close your eyes, maybe place a hand on your chest and your lower belly to begin observing any physical sensations. And as you might do in meditation, bring an attitude of friendly curiosity where you're not judging what you're observing as good or bad. You're just being open to what is. Having noticed the way you feel physically right now, tune into the quality of the breath just as it is. Through the sensations of the breath, feel your energetic state of being. And now I invite you to notice any emotions you're feeling right now. Along with that, any kinds of thoughts you have been feeding. And even notice the quality of your attention in this moment. Let's begin to deepen the breath, inhaling through your nose as you root your body down into the surface below it. Exhaling slower through the lips as you rise a little taller through the top of your head. Inhaling slightly deeper. Easily exhaling just as slowly. Continue to lengthen the breath, both in and out. As you start to notice anything in this moment that you feel gratitude for. Awakening our hearts with gratitude, now set your intention for this practice today. What are you opening up to experience? Or is there a particular shift in any area of your life in which you are choosing to create? And to broaden our perspective even more, I invite you to choose someone to dedicate your practice to today, a way of making an offering for someone else. Now let's set our intentions and dedications together as we create resonance by chanting Om 3 times. Om.
As you continue to lengthen the breath, let's start to practice a breathing technique that invites calm, focus, and balance to our energy. And that is Ujjayi Pranayama, victorious breathing. So as you continue to lengthen in breath and out breath evenly, softly narrow the back of your throat while closing your lips. So you're just breathing through your nose so that you create and can listen to a very gentle whispering sound to your breath. Take your time to feel the full expansion of the inhalation and to completely empty any last bit of air from your lungs. Practicing doing so easily without strain. Find a smooth transition between the in and the out breaths, because all the qualities that you're practicing, you're breathing right now, will invite our bodies to follow suit. So as you listen to the breath, please start to make your way onto your back. And let's bring some gentle movement into the hips and into the lower back. So as you're lying down, bend your knees into your chest and take hold of your bent knees. Inhale, start to rotate your thighs apart away from your midline. And exhale, circle your thighs together, knees together. Inhale apart. Exhale together. Keep going and feel free to switch directions a few times as we're gently lubricating the hip joints. Even change up the size of the circles. Maybe even join the knees and let them go together in the same direction. Notice what sensations you're feeling all around your hips. The hips move in so many different directions. Notice what you're feeling around your lower back or the rest of your spine. Couple more slow breaths. See if you can slow down the movement by slowing down the breath. Bend your right knee into your chest and straighten your left leg forward on the ground, hugging your right thigh or shin with both hands as you ground the backs of your shoulders and lengthen your neck. As you're hugging your right thigh gently closer and closer to the right side of your rib cage, towards the right lower belly region, start to circle your right foot at the ankle. Go as slowly as you're breathing. Notice what happens to your mind when you really bring intention into moving slower than you might usually do. Switch directions. Slide the right leg forward onto the ground and hug the left thigh or the left shin. Continue to ground your shoulders as you slide your left thigh further out to the left, gently pressing into your lower abdomen. Circle your left foot, following the pace of your breath.
You might remember that the region of your lower back and your hips is a region of your sacral energy center, as well as close to the root chakra too. The sacral energy center has to do with our ability to flow with change, to adapt, our connection to our emotions, how we relate to the whole spectrum of our emotions and process and express them as needed, as well as our sexuality. And the root chakra is much about our feeling of inner stability, our healthy relationship with our physical bodies and the earth, and our sense of belonging. Slide the left leg forward. And then point both toes, reach your arms overhead, and as you lengthen through both ends of your body, interlace your fingers and flip your palms inside out. Draw the shoulder blades down the back, and notice if, like mine, your front ribs start to pop up towards the sky. If so, seal them down towards the ground and towards your pubic bone. That entails activating your upper abdomen so you're not hyperextending the lower back and compressing it. And as you do that now, cross your left ankle over your right ankle. Let's make a crescent-shaped moon out of our bodies by sliding our ankles and our hands over to the right side of the mat, while our hips might sway slightly to the left. Try to keep the back of your left and right hips equally grounded, so you're not adding a twist to this lateral extension. Now imagine breathing a little deeper into your left side body. That means the whole left side of your body. Can you feel your muscles in between your left ribs stretching and relaxing to the breath? Your intercostal muscles. One more slow breath here. And now release the arms and just circle out the hands. Bring your feet back towards the midline of your mat and crossing the legs. And now let's interlace the fingers, pointing the index fingers overhead towards the back wall. Cross the right ankle over the left ankle and slide your feet and hands towards the left edge of your mat, creating a crescent shape, while your hips might slightly slide to the right. Now try to keep the back of your left and right hips equally grounded, so you're not twisting here, just side bending. And imagine breathing all along the right side of your body. Notice where you feel this posture the most. Can you feel the right wall of your lungs expand and press into the right wall of your rib cage as you breathe in? Listen to one more slow breath here. And then gently slide back to center and bend your knees into your chest. Gently rock side to sides to help massage into your lower back. You could even rock forward and back, massaging up and down your spine if you want to explore that. We're going to get a little more active with our warm-up movements here. So arrive with your back on the floor again and bend your knees. Take your blocks and let's hug each of the two blocks. The skinniest width between your ankles and feet, and either the skinniest or medium width between your knees and thighs. Choose the widths that allow your knees and pretty much your ankles to be your hips width apart. And as you bend your knees 90-degree angles, stack your knees right on top of your hips And notice if your lower back arches higher away from the ground. Try to activate the belly a bit so that you can elongate the lower back closer to the ground, as if your tailbone was slithering towards the front edge of your mat like a snake. Now open your arms wide apart on the floor and ground your shoulders. We're going to start to move the legs side to side really slowly with control, waking up or twisting muscles, your obliques. But make sure that you don't drop the legs to one side or the other. We're just going to hover the legs as low as we can hover while keeping the opposite shoulder on the floor. So here we go. Lengthen the neck, ground the shoulders, stay at the center as you breathe in and imagine your spine lengthening through your crown and tailbone towards the front of the mat. As you exhale really slowly, lower your legs to the right side as close to the ground as you can hover them while feeling your left shoulder stay on the floor. Inhale, slowly lift the knees back to center. Exhale, really slowly hover your knees to the left. Keep the right shoulder on the ground. Inhale, slowly lift the knees. So taking your time to move with control, not just swing out of momentum. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Keep your lower belly activated so when you come to center, the lower back does not rise higher away from the ground and overarch. Inhale, center. Keep sealing in your bottom front ribs too. Exhale to the right. Get into your own breath rhythm. Inhale, center, where the repetition creates a more meditative state. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Last cycle here. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. And let's put the blocks aside. Keep your knees bent and wrap your right leg as much as you can around your left leg, sort of like eagle pose where you're braiding the legs. You might even wrap the right toes behind the left ankle. Now put your feet down for a moment so you can lift the pelvis and slide it over towards the right edge of your mat, maybe another 3 to 5 inches. Gazing past your right shoulder, make sure that right shoulder stays on the ground. Lift your feet and then slowly drop your knees to the left. Use that same control that we were just activating. Now this time, drop it as much as you can, and if you need, so the right shoulder doesn't come off the ground, use your pillow or your blanket or a combination to catch the outside of your left leg, because we're gonna be here for 2 minutes now. As we stay in stillness for 2 minutes, you might close your eyes and tune into the sensations of the breath as you continue to balance and lengthen in and out. While in this twist, invite your right outer hip to slightly tilt towards the front edge of your mat, deepening the stretch in your lower back. You could even use your left hand to gently press away your right outer hip. Do you notice the muscles in your jaw, your eyes? Invite them all to relax here. Tune into one more full breath before you start to unravel from your twist. And then rolling onto your back, step your 2 feet on the floor with knees bent. And just pause here for a moment. You could rest your hands on your lower belly. And just allow your spine to unwind from the twist. Notice what you're feeling in your body, even subtly. Since we had a request for digestion stimulating practice, you might focus on breathing into your belly, feeling it gently rise and expand as you inhale. And then allowing your belly as you exhale to soften down towards your spine. Abdominal breathing stimulates digestion as well as relaxation. Let's take our time preparing for the second side. Wrap your left leg around your right leg as much as you can. You might tuck the toes behind the ankle. Then with your feet on the ground, arms open wide on the floor, lift your pelvis and slide it closer to the left edge of your mat. Ground your left shoulder, maybe gaze past it, then lift your feet and slowly use your obliques. Start to lower your legs to your right side. And if you find the left shoulder wants to rise up, you could catch your outer right leg with any of your props. Once again, feel the textures of the breath. 2 minutes here. To further release tension from the lower back if needed, you could place your right hand on your left outer hip and gently press that left outer hip forward so it slightly tilts towards the front edge of your mat. Can you still feel the full extent of the in and out breaths? Find the very bottom of your next exhalation before you slowly unravel onto your back. And this time, let's step the feet a little wider apart on the floor with knees bent. Separate your feet wider than hips distance, maybe even mat width apart. And then let your knees drop in together to touch. This gives a gentle widening stretch across your lower back. You might once again rest your hands either on your hip flexors at the creases of your hips or your lower belly. Just having the weight of your palms can feel grounding and relaxing. Let's tune into 3 belly breaths. Inhaling, let the belly gently expand. Exhaling, let it soften down towards your spine. Focusing on smooth transitions between the breaths. Remember that mindful breathing like this is another way to help stimulate the vagus nerve, which then in turn promotes deep relaxation in your nervous system. Sense the effects on your own. What are you experiencing right now? All right, please find your strap. Let's start with the left foot on the ground so the left knee stays bent. Bend the right knee into your chest and let's step the ball of your right foot either into the loop or the center of the strap. Take hold of the strap in your right hand as you keep the right knee bent for now. So bring the right arm inside of your right thigh and then take hold of the strap as close to the right foot as you can with your right hand. Now with your left hand, press into the very top of your left thigh and slide the left leg onto the floor. Flex both of your feet. So you're spreading your toes back towards the shins, and with the right foot, kick into the strap while you're pulling it towards you. So there's a little bit of tension between right foot, right hand. Now, making sure that the back of your left hip stays on the ground, begin to splay your right thigh towards the outside of your ribs. Pull down on the strap so your right leg is basically in happy baby pose. Make sure that both shoulders and the head stay on the floor. And so as you're pulling down on the strap, the right knee bends closer to the ground on the outside of your right shoulder. How's your breath here? You could play with, from your right hip socket, turning out your right thigh. So there's a bit more of an external rotation of your right thigh bone at the hip. Make sure that your right knee and your right middle toe move along in the same direction. You're not laterally rotating the knee. Now, again, with back of left hip staying on the floor, to your degree of comfort without straining, begin to kick into the strap of the right foot to straighten your right leg out to the right. And as you're straightening the leg, become aware if your right side of your torso shortens so that that right hip is hiking up towards the right arm. But if so, back off a little, maybe straighten the leg less and try to tack this inner crease of your right hip down towards or forward towards the front edge of your mat so that your right and left sides of your torso stay equally long, because that would affect the lower back as well. So only go as far out with that right leg straightening and turning out as you can keep that right hip equidistant with the left hip to your armpits. Now let's tune into 5 more deep breaths here in supine hand to big toe pose. Supta Utthita Hasta Parangushtasana. Activate your lower belly so that you can inhale, raise your right leg up towards the sky. Take hold of the strap with 2 hands. Even out the sides of your torso again. Tack that right hip crease forward. You might even use your thumb. And then start to bend the elbows and gently bring the right leg towards you. We're not trying to cause any strain here, so just find a point where you can still comfortably breathe. About 3 more breaths. Remove the strap and step your right foot on the floor. Let's start with the right knee bent. Now bend your left knee into your chest and step the ball of your left foot into the strap. Bring your left arm onto the inside of your left thigh, and then take hold of the strap as close to the left foot as you can with your left hand. Now, place your right hand on the top of your right thigh, and as you press down with that right hand, straighten the right leg forward and flex both of your feet. Make sure you can feel the back of your right hip as well as your shoulders stay on the floor. And now begin to splay your left thigh out to the left side of your ribs. So the left leg is now in happy baby. So what we're doing here, one of the things we're doing is we're broadening across the sacrum or widening across the lower back, especially as you keep the back of the right hip down. How's your breathing? As you're pulling the strap downward, you're drawing the left knee closer to the ground on the left side of your left shoulder. Couple more breaths before we change this up. Now, as you continue flexing your feet, so there's a bit of tension between left hand and left foot holding the strap, start by externally rotating the left thigh a bit more, where it points your left knee towards the left wall a bit. And then as you're kicking into the strap, slowly straighten the left leg just to your capacity without strain. Now pause a moment, notice if your left hip is hiking up closer to the armpit. If so, back off a little, maybe straighten the leg less, and you might even use your left thumb and hook the outer crease of your left hip forward to help lengthen the left side of your torso as much as the right. Now keep that and then continue with turning out and straightening the left leg. Gonna be here for 2 minutes. Activate your lower belly a little stronger as you inhale to lift the left leg upwards in front of you and hold the strap with 2 hands. Level out your hips again, equally lengthen both sides of your torso. And as you keep your head and shoulders on the ground, slowly bring the left leg towards you. Forgot to mention on the first side, but give your hamstring the back of the thigh support by flexing the quadricep, the front muscle of your left thigh, without locking the knee. Only about 3 more deep breaths here. Now let's remove the strap and once again hug your knees into your chest. You might rock a little in different directions. You might choose to come into full happy baby since we already teased ourselves of that. Then close the knees together, round into a ball, and find an easy way to rise up to sit with your legs in front of you. Let's enter our next spinal twist sitting down. So extend your left leg forward and step your right foot on the floor in front of your right hip. Take hold of the right shin with 2 hands and use your 2 sitting bones to press into the ground, or you could sit up on a pillow or a blanket if that helps you to feel more upright in the spine. And rebound a force to lift your spine taller. Now draw the shoulders slightly back, feel the natural length in your throat. And then place the right hand on the floor behind your pelvis. Again, press into the ground, lift up a little taller through the spine, breathe in. Keep your pelvis still and begin to rotate your ribcage to the right as you breathe out. Press down with the pelvis, breathe in, lift up from the base of your spine. Exhale, continue to twist. Now you could choose to hook the left elbow outside the right thigh, just as long as that doesn't add more tension in your shoulders and neck. Just about 4 or 5 more breaths here. As you breathe out, unwind your spine. Drop the right thigh open and bring the sole of the foot high on the inside of your left thigh. Let's use the strap again. Place the ball of your left foot into the strap and hold the strap only in your right hand. Place the left hand outside your left leg on the floor and kick into the strap, flexing the foot while you're pulling the strap. Lift up to your sternum and through the back of your neck and skull. Feel both sitting bones rooted down as you breathe in to lengthen your spine. Stay upright and twist to the left, so you're turning the ribcage to the left. And as you exhale, continue to or start to fold in that direction towards the outside of your left leg. So we're adding a twist to our forward fold of Janu Shirshasana here. Try to keep rooted through that right sitting bone as you lengthen from the base of your spine to the top of your head. Keep the shoulders back, keep your throat open. Make sure you're not closing off your throat here. If you are, back off and elongate your spine. Just go to that point. As we stay for about 4 more breaths, imagine breathing into the right side of your lower back. Invite that area to expand like lungs as you inhale. And then really relax that part of your body as you exhale. Press down through both sitting bones. Firmen the belly slightly and start to lift from your chest. Inhale to rise. Remove the strap. And let's first set up for the spinal twist. So straighten the right leg forward and step your left foot on the ground just in front of your left hip. Hold on to the shin with both hands and equally press down through both sitting bones. Lift up from the base of your spine, area of your root chakra, all the way to the top of your head. Press the shoulders down, slightly draw them back, and open your throat. Now, if you tend to sit in this way, where the throat or the chin juts forward, imagine that chin as a drawer closing. So glide it towards the back of your throat and lift up through the back of your skull. Place the left hand on the floor behind your pelvis. Sit a little taller as you breathe in. Keep your pelvis still and twist to the left as you breathe out. Inhale, press down, lift up. Exhale, allow the twist to deepen. You might add hooking the right elbow outside the left thigh. Just make sure it doesn't cause added tension in the shoulders and neck. Otherwise, you might be better without it. A few more deep breaths. One very long exhalation here. And then gently unwind and splay your left thigh open. Bring the sole of your left foot high up against your inner right thigh and place the strap around the ball of your right foot flexed. Hold the strap in your left hand as you play a gentle tug of war between that right foot and left hand. Place the right hand on the floor outside of your right leg. Press both sitting bones down, and again, lift up from the base of your spine. Imagine restacking each vertebra and inviting more space between them. Keep that spaciousness. Now rotate your ribcage to the right and begin folding towards the outside of your right leg. Pause. Press both sitting bones down, especially the left. And again, lengthen from the base of your spine to the top of your head. Remember not to hinge from your neck. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you have a little more range from the hips. Now imagine breathing into the left side of your lower back. Feel it expand as you breathe in. Feel it relax more deeply as you breathe out. 4 more breaths into the left lower back. And then as you're ready, press down through the hips, lead with your chest, slightly activate your belly to support your back as you rise. Let's put the strap aside and prepare to sit in either cross-legged right shin forward or on top. You might sit up on something to help you sit taller, or double pigeon pose where you're stacking your knees and your ankles and flexing your feet. That last part is important to keep your knees safe. If you find that the top thigh is lifting like this, you could place a prop underneath it, like a block. As you ground your 2 sitting bones, again, lengthen from the base of your spine. You can close the eyes and concentrate on elongating your spine like there's a string being pulled through both ends of it. Keep pulling that string as you exhale to hinge little by little from the hips. Now, as you slightly engage your abdomen to elongate and support your lower back, invite a little lift in your chest and peel the shoulder head slightly behind you and down the back. With each inhale, as you root your pelvis more deeply, let your spine grow a little longer. About 4 more breaths here. Let your pelvis feel heavier and your heart feel lighter as you breathe in to slowly rise. Let's stretch the legs forward for a moment And if you've been flexing your feet, maybe do the opposite. Point your toes or roll out your feet. And now let's switch sides. Left shin forward or on top of right shin. So you're either sitting cross-legged or, if it's available, double pigeon, where you're stacking your ankles and your knees while flexing your feet. Ground your sitting bones. Breathe in and restack each vertebra from the bottom up in your mind's eye, sitting taller, shoulders relaxed. Engage your abdomen slightly and begin to hinge from your hips. Keep the throat open, breathing out. Taking that breath by breath. Keep your pelvis heavy as you invite your spine to grow longer from it. Keep your heart light as you bow. 4 more breaths. And then as you root down to your hips a little heavier, breathe in and let the heart center feel lighter. Slowly rise. One more time, stretch the legs forward. Maybe point the toes or roll out your feet. I'll invite you into supine hero's pose, and that'll be our last one before we practice some more breath work. So let's open the fronts of the hips, the hip flexors. Come on back to your knees like earlier, either sitting on a block between your ankles or directly on your heels, or maybe on the floor right between your ankles. Making sure your tops of your feet are flat on the ground, not turned out or turned in, and your knees stay on the ground, no wider than your hips distance. Seal in the bottom of your front ribs. Lengthen the tailbone down as you lift up through the crown. And relaxing the shoulders, take your time leaning back. Now you could lean back with your hands behind you like this. You could set up your pillow to catch you like a reclining chair. You could set up a couple of blocks, like supported fish pose, where you have one at the back of the skull, tallest height, one medium height across the bottom tips of the shoulder blades, like this. Or maybe you don't lean back that far. Some of you might lean all the way back onto the floor. Just see what's available. No expectations. You've set your intention, and now just be open to what arises. Come back to the breath. I'm going to watch the clock for 2 more minutes here. Keep taking care of your lower back in this pose by sealing inward and downward your bottom front ribs. And the further back you lean, the more you want to focus on lengthening your tailbone forward towards the space between your knees. You might continue with belly breaths, more digestion stimulating breathing. Remember to keep both knees on the ground. If they start to lift up, you've gone too far back. In reclining, you can just lift up a little higher to the torso. So notice what's coming up for you. What kinds of thoughts, emotions might arise. The body remembers what the mind might forget. And then allow a few breaths to take your time rising up again to sit. And once you're upright, stretch the legs out in front of you and give the backs of your knees some room to breathe. As we prepare for one more breathing technique, one to help tune deeper inward to prepare us for both Shavasana and meditation. And that is alternate nostril breathing, Nodi Shodhana Pranayama, which also helps to balance your energy and balance the left and right hemispheres of your brain. Sit in a way that you feel grounded, alert, and open while relaxed. And we're going to be using our hands, except the left can stay on your lap. You might bring it into Gyan Mudra to help you concentrate inward, where you bring the thumb and the first finger to touch, and you rest the back of the hand on your thigh. The right hand will stick out the thumb, pinky, and ring fingers. Let's continue to breathe just through the nose, so the mouth is closed, very soft, sustained breaths. As we're practicing Nodi Shodhana Pranayama, you might choose to close your eyes and direct your inward gaze towards your third eye center, which is Ajna Chakra, your intuitive energy center, towards the middle of your brain, where your pineal gland sits. Now we'll be using the right thumb to close the right nostril like this, and the right ring and pinky fingers to close the left nostril like this. Alternate nostril breathing. Let's prepare to practice 3 cycles together and then 2 cycles on your own by exhaling this breath out. With your right thumb, close your right nostril. Inhale slowly through the left. Hold your breath. Close left nostril. Exhale slowly through right. Hold your breath. Inhale through right. Hold it in. Close right. Exhale through left. Hold it out. Cycle 2. Inhale left. Hold. Close left. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. Cycle 3. Inhale left. Hold. Close left. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. Continue 2 more cycles on your own. When you finish, breathe naturally and sit for a few moments observing anything you feel. Become more intentional in letting go of doing and welcoming simple state of being. Please lower your body completely to the ground and feel free to use any props if you like to set up in a still resting position, lying down. Allow your feet to splay apart, maybe wider than your hips distance. Turn the palms up, slightly away from your sides, resting your shoulders and backs of the hands on the ground. And as you close your eyes, scan your body. Is there any part of your body still engaged or contracted or holding on to anything? Soften the tongue, soften the eyes, relax your ears, relax your belly, soften the area of your pelvis, your hips, pelvic floor. Relax your hands, relax your feet, letting your presence, your awareness expand. Shavasana. Just start to become more aware of your physical body again as you keep your eyes closed and your body still. Notice how you feel physically right now. And let your body tell you what wants to move first as you start to gently stretch and move very gently. Take your time turning over to your right side and resting your head. As you pause there, spend a few moments observing the breath. Feeling your energy. Does it feel any different? And then begin to lift your body up. Find a comfortable seated position for meditation. You'll be sitting for 5 minutes. You might place your hands again in Gyan Mudra or a different mudra if you choose. And either close your eyes or steady a gentle downcast gaze as you sit tall, relaxed, and rooted. Let's begin. Remembering the qualities that we can develop over time of meditating regularly. I invite you to practice first choosing an anchor to rest your awareness on and come back to when your attention wanders. That anchor could be the feeling of the natural breath in a specific part of your body, like the belly. That anchor could be a consistent sound that you can hear in your background, such as a fan or an air conditioner. That anchor could be the sensation of your thumb and index fingers touching. Once you've chosen, commit to resting your awareness there with a very gentle effort. And if your attention wanders off, be kind to yourself as you re-guide your attention back to the anchor repeatedly, practicing that. Now, it's important to remember that we're not trying to stop thoughts. or force our focus on the anchor. Let it be a restful returning to the anchor as you allow whatever thoughts come and go. Seeing the thoughts as they are, just simply things that come and go. Notice how you feel right now emotionally. How does your mind feel? I invite you to acknowledge something that you appreciate in this new moment. And then return to your intention for this practice. Say it again to yourself. Remember as well to whom you dedicated this practice. Now let's close. Chanting Om 3 times. Feel the resonance that you are both giving and receiving. Inhale a little deeper. Bowing in, recognize the light within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.